I'm Julie Brogren, Chief Commercial Officer at Ascelia Pharma. I'm proud and I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about the commercial opportunity of Mangoral. I'm proud because Mangoral has the potential to truly improve the health and life of people living with an unmet need in oncology. And I'm excited because Mangoral, because of this, represents a significant commercial opportunity for Ascelia Pharma. Today, I'll be sharing key highlights on the market opportunity and our progress on the journey to market. Firstly, further market data and analysis has led us to upgrade our estimate of the addressable market for Mangoral to be between $500 and $600 million in our key markets. Secondly, decision makers understand the value of Mangoral. And thirdly, our preparations towards launch are progressing as planned, and we continue to see a strong case for launching on our own in the US. The market potential for Mangoral is based on a well-defined patient population. These are patients who have suspected liver cancer or metastases. Liver metastases are common in many cancer types and are often the cause of mortality. The gold standard for accurate and early detection of liver metastases is liver MRI, adding a drug agent that enhances the image quality, a contrast agent. Patients who have severe kidney impairment are at risk of developing severe adverse events if they are exposed to the currently available contrast agents. This is the target population for Mangoral, because Mangoral is not associated with the risk of this side effect. The addressable market for Mangoral was previously estimated to be between $350 and $500 million in our key markets, the US, the EU, and Japan. This estimate was based on solid prevalence data and market research using epidemiology to estimate the patient population. It was also based on a survey among radiologists in the US and on feedback from payers and reimbursement decision makers in key markets. We now have more data, which has led to further validation of assumptions and an upgrade of this estimate. Today we have announced an upgrade of the addressable market to be between $500 and $600 million in key markets. This upgrade is based on our progress within a number of key areas. First of all, the target population is unchanged. However, we've obtained new data from actual recorded medical procedures, real-world data. This data gives us a solid understanding of patients eligible for Mangoral and the number of imaging procedures per patient per year. We've also obtained additional insights from payers and reimbursement experts in our key markets. These insights have helped us advance our understanding of the value proposition of Mangoral to the healthcare system and of the pricing potential in each key market. This new real-world data and additional expert input has led us to upgrade our estimate of the addressable market, for which the main driver is an increase in the total number of procedures per year. This is a very attractive commercial opportunity. In line with industry practice, we'll not be sharing further details on these assumptions or data behind our estimate. Our objective is now to be positioned to obtain the best possible access for patients at a price that represents the value of Mangoral. We will now focus on completing the SPARKLE phase 3 study and obtaining regulatory approval. I look forward to realizing this potential for Mangoral. I will now talk about the value that Mangoral provides to the healthcare system and what this means for our commercialization. When preparing for a launch, it's key to understand how Mangoral helps patients compared to other drugs in the landscape. If we look at the landscape of MRI contrast agents, all currently available options are based on the toxic heavy metal gadolinium, and they have black box warnings for patients with severe renal impairment. This is due to their risk of developing nephrogenic systemic fibrosis, or NSF. NSF is a multi-organ and potentially fatal disorder with no treatment options available. This risk exists for both contrast agents that are specific to liver imaging and all other contrast agents available today. This means two things: that no contrast agent is currently advised for liver imaging in patients with severe kidney impairment. And it means that Mangoral has the potential to be the only safe and effective liver imaging contrast agent for these patients. Clinical practice confirms that physicians make decisions on liver MR imaging with the risk of NSF in mind. For example, a survey shows that NSF remains the most concerning aspect of gadolinium-based contrast agents in MR imaging. It also shows that for patients at risk, MRI without gadolinium-based contrast is a preferred option today, which is in accordance with current guidelines and recommendations from authorities. We have recently held advisory boards and interviews with 50 experts on pricing and reimbursement in key markets. We've asked them to evaluate a number of parameters related to the currently available contrast agents and to the clinical profile of Mangoral. They clearly said that they are aware of the limitations of gadolinium-based contrast agents, and they agree that Mangoral has the potential to address these important unmet medical needs. They also provided valuable input on how we can best prepare for a dialogue with decision makers to get strong outcomes on pricing and access for patients. In summary, Mangoral has a clear value proposition to patients, to physicians, and to the healthcare system. In fact, 85% of clinicians in a survey are likely or extremely likely to use Mangoral at launch. In my experience, this clear understanding is very uncommon several years before a launch. This is because of three things. There is no contrast agent advised for these patients today. Mangoral provides improved visualization compared to unenhanced MRI, which is the standard of care for this patient population today. 3, contrast-enhanced MRI can enable early detection, which in turn allows for early intervention and higher survival rates for these patients. To summarize, Mangoral has the potential to be the only safe and effective liver imaging contrast agent for our target patient population. I will now talk about our solid progress and plans for commercialization and the case for building our own commercialization in the US. Clear market priorities are key to success. The US represents the most important commercial opportunity for Mangoral. This is because the number of patients, this is because of the maturity of clinical practice and the reimbursement system in the US. EU and Japan represent the next priority markets, and we are evaluating other potential markets. For the US, the attractiveness and clear path to market provides a strong case for commercializing on our own, i.e. building a US commercial affiliate. For other markets, the value of Mangoral can be maximized by working with a partner with existing local relationships and expertise. Let me tell you more about this. In our most important market, the US, we already have strong relationships with leading radiologists among SPARKLE clinical study investigators. We've also partnered with specialists and organizations within manufacturing and radiology. The case for commercializing in the US by building our own affiliate is strong. We can reach priority physicians at launch with a sales force of around 20 FTEs. These will work closely with a cross-functional support team. For logistics and distribution, we will work with third parties with existing operations. Building our own commercial team allows us to create an attractive top line and to retain profit in Ascelia. We have mapped decision makers in the US. With regards to reimbursement, data shows that 70% of Mangoral target patient population is covered under the Medicare and Medicaid programs. The use of Mangoral will mainly be at a reachable number of hospitals and clinics. 750 hospitals and clinics handle around 75% of MRI procedures. 400 of these serve 75% of patients with kidney impairment. Radiologists are the most important decision makers on liver imaging contrast agents. Data shows that around 2,000 radiologists perform regular MRI imaging in patients with kidney impairment. Beyond the US, the EU and Japan provide the most attractive and addressable market opportunities for Mangoral. Our current assessment is that the optimal launch in the EU and Japan and other markets will be to work with partners who have strong local capabilities and relationships with decision makers in reimbursement, pricing, and clinical practice. My last topic for today is an update on our progress and plans for commercialization. Our preparations for a strong launch are on track. This year, our focus has been on building global capabilities and building a blueprint for commercialization. We have advanced our plans, our strategies, and our priorities based on solid market research. We've also reached supply chain readiness with our first commercial scale manufacturing of Mangoral, which we announced in September. And we have worked closely with key stakeholders within the medical community, including investigators in our SPARKLE phase 3 study. Next year, our focus will be on preparing and launching a US organization and on advancing our partnerships in other markets. And we will continue our collaboration with the medical community, and we will develop evidence to support the value and pricing for reimbursement decisions. In 2022, our focus will be on preparing for launch execution within commercial and supply chain operations. And it will be to educate physicians more broadly on our clinical data and to reach patients as quickly as possible upon regulatory approval. We expect this towards the end of 2022 or early 2023. We know what it takes to reach patients with poor kidney function in need of a safe and effective liver imaging option. We know what it takes to launch Mangoral successfully. And the preparations are advancing well and according to our plans. It's been a pleasure to update you today on the market opportunity and commercial preparations for Mangoral. In summary, based on additional data and insights on patient numbers and pricing, we have today upgraded our estimate of the addressable market potential for Mangoral to be between $500 and $600 million in our key markets. Decision makers understand the value of Mangoral, and our preparations for launch are progressing well, and we continue to have a strong case for building our own US commercial team. I look forward to updating you as our commercial preparations advance. Thank you.